Hello, my name is Stephen Byrne and I'm a senior scientist in the TII Environmental Policy and Compliance section. This short presentation is on the TII Air Quality Standard Document and Overarching Technical Guidance Document. This presentation was previously delivered between the 16th and 18th of June 2025 as part of the TII Publications Roadshow. In this presentation, I will give a short overview of the Air Quality Overarching Technical Guidance Document and the standard, and then touch on briefly planned updates to the air quality publications. So firstly, a brief overview of the Air Quality Overarching Technical Guidance Document and Standard Document. So the two documents are already published, and they were published in December 2022. The TI project manager was Dr. Vincent O'Malley, and our project partner were ACON. It can be found on TI Publications website in the Planning and Evaluation environmental stream. So, as I said, two documents have been published: the Air Quality Assessment of Specified Infrastructure Projects, or the Overarching Technical Guidance Document, and the Air Quality Assessment of Proposed National Road Standard. It's important to say that these standards are already in use and have been utilised on a range of projects since publication, including the recent update of the Galway City Ring Road submitted to and commissioned Pleanála recently. In addition, they've been used on the Lewis Finglas project. And importantly, as part of the Metrolink project, which lodged its railway order to onboard Pleanála in September 2022, before these documents were published, as part of the oral hearing agenda which we received in December 2023, the inspector asked that we address implications of any relevant legislative or guidance updates since lodgements, including and specifically mentioned the TII air quality and climate standards. So it's important to consider that if your project is already lodged or in the process of lodging before these standards have been published, you may be asked to comment on them by the inspector. And with that in mind, section 1.9 of the Air Quality Standard sets out the details of standard implementation and how projects which have already commenced planning and design prior to their publication should consider the standards. So this slide provides an overview of the Air Quality Assessment of Specified Infrastructure Projects Overarching Technical Document. It provides guidance on the methodology, scope and processes underlying the air quality assessment for specified infrastructure projects. So what are specified infrastructure projects? Well, they are national road schemes, toll schemes, motorway services, light rail and metro schemes, and also rural cycleways, offline and greenways. This document aims to ensure a consistent and appropriate description and evaluation of the baseline environment relevant to specified infrastructure projects. It provides guidance on the methodology for air quality assessment for the planning, design and assessment phases of delivering specified infrastructure projects, and it aims to promote a context-sensitive approach to design of appropriate mitigation measures for likely significant air quality effects of specified infrastructure projects. When reading this document, you'll note that, for example, national road schemes or toll schemes have a greater focus on operational stage impacts, whereas active travel and public transport projects have a greater focus on the construction stage impacts. This slide provides an overview of the table of contents of the technical document. Chapter 1 is an introduction and sets the context and purpose of the guidelines. Chapter 2 is quite important, and it focuses on the regulatory and policy framework, including European and national air quality policy and legislation. Chapter 3 is focused on the application of the guidelines to specified infrastructure projects. Chapter 4 is around air quality assessment processes, and Chapter 5 is on air quality assessment through the project phases and stages. It is important to note in the current version of this guidance document, Phase 0 and 1 is undertaken by the project manager and not by an air quality competent expert. So as part of the project manager's role, they will consider and look at air quality. Phases 2 and 3 require the input of an air quality competent expert. This slide considers the air quality assessment of proposed national roads, the standard document. The standard document details how to undertake an air quality assessment during the planning of proposed national road schemes, motorway service areas, toll schemes and any associated infrastructures. However, it does not cover light rail, metro or active travel. It details how to apply the air quality assessment in a manner that is proportionate to the complexity, scale and likely significance of air quality effects of a national road scheme, motorway service areas, toll scheme and any associated infrastructure. It provides a consistent approach to the consideration of air quality assessment during the planning of national road projects as set out in TI's Project Management Guidelines, Project Manager's Manual for Major National Roads and Project Appraisal Guidelines. The objectives of the air quality assessment process are to determine the baseline air quality within the study area, to identify human receptors where there is a potential significant change in nitrogen dioxide and particulate matter size 10 or 2.5 concentrations during the operational phase, identify sensitive designated habitats where potential significant change in nitrogen oxides or ammonia concentrations may occur, identify human and sensitive designated habitats where there is a risk of dust and traffic movement effects occurring during the construction phase, and determine suitable mitigation measures to reduce significant air quality effects to an acceptable level. It is important that an air quality professional with competence and relevant experience, as outlined in section 1.8 of the standard document, undertakes the assessment. This slide replicates figure 1.1 from the standard document, interactions with other environmental factors. The interactions are clear. Inputs to the air quality assessment are traffic, obviously, but also biodiversity. And the outputs from the air quality assessment inform the assessments related to biodiversity, climate, and also population and human health. This is one of a number of presentations on environmental factors, including noise, population, landscape, and biodiversity. And what we're trying to do across all our standards document is to take a systems thinking approach to our projects by listening to our competent experts to see whether the interactions exist. In addition, Phase 2 of the air quality assessment process does require a degree of modelling, primarily using the road emissions model or the REM tool. Practitioners will have to calculate the index of overall change in exposure, calculate local scale pollutant concentrations too. And this is looking at the different route options as part of Phase 2. So there will be modelling required, and there is modelling required as part of Phase 2. As previously mentioned, the air quality standard document and technical guidance document were published in December 2022. At the same time, two other key documents were published by TII. The first, Climate Guidance for National Roads, Light Rail and Rural Cycleways, and Climate Assessment of Proposed National Roads, a standard. In addition, TII have developed the TII Road Emissions Model, the REM tool, as previously mentioned, and the TII Carbon tool for use in the assessment of air quality and climate effects for specified infrastructure projects. These tools are described in the overarching technical guidance document and standard document for both air quality and climate. TI should be contacted by the project team or project teams to request access to these tools. The second part of this presentation will focus on planned updates to air quality publications. Recently, there has been a significant update to the EU's air quality framework, strengthening the previous ambient air quality directives, which the TII air quality documents are considering as part of our updates. Directive 2024-2881/EC was published in December 2026. This revised directive aligns EU air quality standards more closely with World Health Organization guidelines. It introduces stricter limits for particulate matter and nitrogen dioxide. In relation to nitrogen dioxide, the annual nitrogen dioxide limit value has reduced from 40 micrograms per meter cubed to 20 micrograms per meter cubed by 2030, with the daily limit value introduced at 50 micrograms per meter cubed, not to be exceeded more than 18 times per calendar year, and also a reduction in the number of hourly exceedances from 18 times to 3 times per calendar year. Projects will need to consider as appropriate the limit values for the two minimum do something predictions for proposed national road projects and also the future baseline predictions. However, it is important to note that the implementation of government strategies will help to lower background concentrations, strategies such as the Climate Action Plan and Clean Air Strategy. In addition, the directive details the approach to air quality action plans, roadmaps and short-term action plans. And finally, the revised directive establishes a legal framework for compensation regarding air pollution related health damages. This is a significant introduction. Additional planned updates are related to alignment with the infrastructure guidelines and transport appraisal framework as necessary, alignment with the population human health standard document, which was published in September 2024. The approach to monitoring on nationally significant schemes is further detailed. Updated referencing throughout, so legislation, additional TI publications, best practice, addressing some minor issues that have been identified. And ultimately, we're looking to get both of these documents published in late 2025. That concludes the TII presentation on the Air Quality Standards document and Technical Guidance document. This is one of a series of environmental related presentations as part of the 2025 Roadshow, Other environmental related presentations relate to biodiversity, landscape, population, human health, and noise. As mentioned during the presentation, TII are taking a systems thinking approach to our projects, and we ultimately believe environmental standards can result in a more consistent approach being taken on our projects. Thank you.